Hello, everybody. Coach Mark here. It's February 6th, 2021. And, anyways, hello. Today, we got part two of Dr. Bruce the Shark heals carpal tunnel syndrome and other injuries. And I'm going to introduce nutrition today. So, that's right. Dr. Bruce is back today to talk about posture repair and nutrition. And boy, I'll tell you what, a lot's changed in the last 3 months for me. It's been 7 months ago since I made a shirtless video, and about 3 months ago, I made a change to my nutrition program. I'm no longer going to call it a diet because it has the word die in it. Anyways, I'm changing my thinking a lot these last 3 months, and I'm realizing that the taste of vegetables, which I never liked, ever liked vegetables. My mom used to force them down me. We have some good stories from my childhood from that. But of course, we she thought they were good for me, so she was doing what she thought was right. But there's a reason, turns out my body was rejecting those even as a kid. So 3 months ago, I discovered the Carnivore Nutrition Program, and I know it sounds kind of rough to some of you people who have ethical issues with animals, and it sounded crazy to me too. Believe me, I used to be vegetarian for a long time. Ate vegetarian most my adult life. But something I want you to pay attention to is how fat I used to be. And look at my video from 7 months ago when I was shirtless back in July 5th. And I was pretty fat back then if you look at the video. And hey, I still got a little fat here, but I came today shirtless for a reason because I think I've made a lot of progress, especially in the last 3 months with my body fat, and I've lost quite a bit, and I could swear it's due to this carnivore nutrition program. So where I'm just eating mostly animal fats. So anyways, I'm going to talk a lot about that today, about not only posture, but the way we eat. And that's what this video is about: how to fix our posture, how to keep our body in good alignments, how to stay in touch with grandfather sky through the ether and our bodies. And that's a whole nother discussion. But I'm telling you, it's important to keep our bodies aligned for all kinds of reasons. And also, what I'm discovering, it's important to keep animal fats in our bodies to to keep us lean and strong is what it comes down to. It's kind of funny. We used to avoid fats to avoid getting fat, but it turns out that's a bunch of bullshit. We actually need to eat a lot of animal fats in particular, and that's how we stay lean. It's interesting how that works out. They've been feeding us all these veggie fats, and it's bullshit. That stuff it hurts us. It gives us heart disease. It gives us all kinds of issues, is what coming to find out. And so we're going to talk a lot about that today. Um, some other changes that happened in the last 3 months. I want to talk about this. Due to this whatever sickness that's going around and the pandemic or whatever the hell it is. I'm not allowed to see my own son due to this pandemic that's going around. So my ex-wife, my son's mother, has denied me access to see my son because I don't wear a mask and I don't social distance. And I'm calling bullshit on it because the masks are making people sick, and I'm going to do a whole nother video on that. But I wore a mask for professional wrestling kind of events, that sort of thing. But I'm coming to find out masks are actually demonic devices, and I'm staying away from them. And I prefer my connection to spirit through my breath, and how important that is to keep that connection and our breathing with the spirit alive. So that's a whole nother video. Let's talk about veggies and how bad they are for us today. I discovered oxalates, which I'd never heard of until 3 months ago. It's kind of interesting. I'd never heard about oxalates and nitrogens and phytic acids and protease inhibitors, lipase inhibitors, amylase inhibitors, glucosinolates, trypsin, fiber. Fiber is an interesting thing. You know how they said fiber is all good for us? Well, turns out fiber is actually an anti-nutrient, and that's what we're going to be talking about today is anti-nutrients. These vegetables that they're feeding us, they're not nutritious, they're anti-nutritious. They're pulling nutrients out of our bodies, making us sicker. It's a deep set of food lies they got going on here, people. I'm telling you, this is what I'm seeing in my reality, and I think I'm seeing it in my own body. So, just FYI, I use my own body as my own science, my best science experiment. Um, I've been an athlete my entire life, trying to keep my body in good health, stay fit, stay strong. I'm a wrestler. I'm a wrestling coach. Obviously, it's good to be strong and limber and agile. And I want to coach for as long as I can because it's my passion, coaching wrestling, teaching kids the sport of wrestling. So the longer I can coach, the more, hey, happier I'm going to be as a person. So I'm just trying to keep myself happy and healthy for as long as I can. Uh, there's flavonoids, another anti-nutrient, polyphenols. Some of these words I can't even pronounce. Like I'll just butcher them. So I like some of these. There's so many anti-nutrients. It's crazy. I never heard of anti-nutrients until 3 months ago. Isn't that interesting? We didn't even talk about polyphenols or goitrogens or oxalates. Where was these words in our nutrition programs? Isn't that interesting? Plants actually do have defense mechanisms, just like animals do. I never really thought about it, how plants can defend themselves, and of course they can, but I didn't think about it as I'm eating these plants that they have defensive mechanisms so that herbivores won't eat them. And of course, it makes sense. It's just logic, people. Um, some of these that I can't pronounce, tannins, I believe, saponins, that they act like anti-food, anti-food, anti-nutrition, and I really think you guys should look into this. There's a YouTube channel called Daphne Reloaded. Daphne's very interesting. She's an ex-vegan who turned to eating mostly animal fats now, and for good reasons. It seems like it saved her life. Maybe it's going to save my life. I'm telling you, I'm feeling pretty good these days. And anyways, I'm going to get into more details to some of these anti-nutrients maybe later. I want to alert people that vegetables have anti-nutrients. They do defend themselves, so we should be careful when we're eating these vegetables. And if they taste gross, there's probably a reason they taste gross, and we should think about maybe not eating them. And for me, these animal fats do taste good, and they're and, let's just move on. I think I've said enough about that. We have been duped not only with our history, with our medical advice that we get from doctors. It's just a bunch of bullshit. The nutrition advice we get, it's the food pyramid made us all fat. And we've been duped to a huge degree. These my last video 7 months ago, I was putting seed oils on my injuries and I was bragging about it. And no offense to JT, I know he's doing the right thing. But I'm turning away from seeds and seed oils. I used to eat them. I used to cook with them back a few months ago, but I no longer. From what I hear, they're poison. And I start thinking about logically in my brain seeds, what they do. When you plant a seed in the soil, what does it do? It pulls nutrition from the soil to grow as a plant or a tree or whatever it is. And so, why wouldn't it do the same thing when it's planted in my stomach or if it's planted, in my joints? So, I'm starting to turn away from the seed oils and I'm starting to turn towards the animal fats. So Daphne Reloaded, she gave me this idea, and I'll tell you what I do. I eat a lot of bacon, and I do still eat some honey because that's kind of the one sweetener I use, and it's probably the one carbohydrate that I still consume is honey. But other than that, it's pretty much just animal fats, and then I just have a soft spot for honey. And anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some bacon grease, which I just have in this honey jar. Whoop. I'm going to dip my finger in the bacon grease, and then I'm going to address one of my injuries today on my wrist because I don't know if you saw that, but I got this lump on my wrist. And some people say it might be cancer, and I'm like, maybe it is cancer. Maybe it's not. I think it's all posture related. Personally, that's my theory. This is related to my posture injuries. My injuries that I have are all one big injury. It's not multiple injuries. I don't have a neck injury and a wrist injury and an elbow injury and a hip injury, knee. I got injuries all over. It's one big injury. One big injury. And I have to deal with my posture, my alignment, my body alignment. And once I can get that repaired, it gets better. You can see I keep my body aligned vertical, trying to keep my chakras aligned, and I think keep my shoulders back and down, hips rotated, and moving around in good posture. So it's so important. And so I'm using bacon grease now for my lubricants in my joints. And it's interesting. I've only been using the bacon grease for a little bit. People think I'm a little weird because I'm doing it, but I don't know, man. I don't trust the seed oils anymore. I'm just like, I'm thinking about seeds and what they are and what they do. And I think people, the medical industry in particular, is messing with this. I'm going to put a little bit on my elbow because I do have the elbow injuries still on both elbows. It's like tennis elbow, and it hurts when I do pull ups still. But I can do one pull up now, which is huge for me. Um, but I got to watch this elbow injury because, anyways, it's all this in here. So, what I'm going to do is rub bacon grease all on my front side injuries. Because if you remember what we're trying to do here with these posture injuries in Western society, because we get all hunched over, the back muscles need to get shorter, the front muscles need to get longer. So that's what I'm focusing on. I'm putting the lubricants on my front side where I'm really tight in my chest, my elbows, and my wrists. I've got that wrist thing, and I've got it on both sides, but the lump only on one side. So even if it's cancer, you know what? It's going to be fun. I don't do the typical cancer treatments. I don't even go see the doctor because I don't trust the doctor. I think, both my dad and my grandfather died of the same cancer in their esophagus, and I'm sure I have the same thing. I'm sure I do. I can feel it in there. My dad told me to go get it checked out before he died, but I'm not going to do it because they're going to tell me I have cancer, and then they're going to want to cut it out, just like they cut it out of him, and just like they cut it out of his father. So obviously, it runs in my family. My grandfather had it, my dad had it, I got it. I can feel it. We choke easy on food. We got this thing in our esophagus that's like this lump that makes it hard to swallow things. We can't swallow pills very easily, and my son knows all. My son probably has it too, so he's aware of the issue. I've let my son know that, anyway, my son doesn't like to swallow pills, but I don't blame him. I don't like to swallow pills. I'm very careful because I have swallowed pills and almost choked before. A good friend of mine, shout out to Bob DeSoto, who saved my life back at Arizona Western College. I was choking on some food after I ate a pill, and then I drank some water to try to force the food down, which is a really bad idea, and I almost choked on that water. And then ran outside to try to spit it out. And Bob saw me choking. Bob came out, gave me the Heimlich maneuver, spit it out, and Bob may have saved my life that day. So Bob DeSoto, thank you so much. He knows I love him, and me and Bob, I'd love to see that guy soon. Anyways, what else was I going to talk about today? We talked about cancer, my body, my choice. Don't No forced medicine, please. That's what my ex-wife's trying to do to me. Force me to get, tested for COVID. Force me to wear a mask. Force me to get vaccinated, just so I can see my own son. I don't think so. I think I should be able to see my son without a vaccination, without wearing a mask, and without social distancing. Social distancing's actually healthy for us. I'm a wrestler. I hug people. I I touch people. Except for toxic people, you toxic people. Stay away from me, baby. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about too was, again, just a couple more posture exercises that I do to keep my body aligned and in good health. We've talked about nutrition. Let's go in just to a couple posture exercises here. I'm going to come down and get my medicine ball. I like to use this medicine ball to just do some throwing because, remember, front muscles longer, back muscles shorter. And this really gives me a good chest stretch as I throw the, but I'm not really going to throw the ball, not indoors. But if I was at a park, I would. I like to go to the park and throw the 10-pound ball. It's pretty cool. I also have a 20-pound ball, but the 20 is a little heavy for this exercise. And throwing 20 pounds is pretty tricky. Throwing 10, actually feels about right. And just even this is a really good stretch. Boom. Stretching both sides. Whoa. Stretching the other side. Boom. Throw. Boom. Okay, I don't know if we're still recording or not. Looked like my computer went to sleep, but maybe we're still going. So let's keep it up. Try to finish this. I got one more exercise to go, and it's the hammer. So we're gonna see if we can get a hammer throw going here. Just keeps the front muscles long, keeps the back muscles shorter, and I'm just gonna kind of throw the hammers and just it's really I can really feel it in my shoulders and my elbows and my wrists. I probably shouldn't have had bacon grease on my hands as I'm doing this because I'm about to slip these hammers out of my hands, which honestly I don't want to throw the hammer at my computer screen, so I gotta be careful here. But I think you get the idea of stretching my chest muscles out and doing this throwing motion like our ancestors used to do when they threw spears at the animals or throwing rocks. A lot of throwing. Throwing's good for us. Throwing's a natural motion. And that's what we need to do with our bodies, natural motions all day. What we could really do is less repetitive motion, less hunching over, less sitting down, and more natural movements, dancing, you know, the posture dance, try to stretch, stretch those chest muscles out, get those chest muscles longer, get the back muscles shorter. And that's my best advice for the day, for the week. I don't know how long it's going to be before I make my next video. I kind of got to get inspired for these, and then when I'm feeling it, boom, I do it. I was feeling inspired this morning, so here we are. I want to talk about veggies and anti-nutrients and how important that is to think about when we're consuming foods because most of those veggies are not good for us, people. I'm telling you. And there's a reason why they taste like shit. Yeah, you can fry them, you can put dressing on them, but you know what? They still taste like shit. And if you take the frying off, you take all the butter off, you take the batter off, the vegetable tastes like shit. That's my opinion. Like I just want to puke when I eat vegetables. So most of them are gross. And the seeds, you people that are eating seeds, you better think about that because anti-nutrients are a real thing. And hey, just throwing it out there, people. Think with your own brain. And I'm just here trying to lift you up. That's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to lift you up to the best of my ability of what I know about life that I've lived this 57 years. I think I've learned a few things. And I think I know a little bit about how to keep my own friggin' self healthy. So I'm just passing on what I know. And I really do hope you have a great day. Peace, prosper, and good health. Sweet. Have a good day.